That's sort of working. Good morning. It's about 10 o'clock on Friday, so it's time for relaxing painting and filing and sanding and sometimes gluing with cementing with Dyson Dungeons. And continuing to work on the Savoia. Progress, well, I'd been away for a week, so nothing got done for a week. Which explains why nothing got done for a week. But just to let you know where I am in this is, I'll show you up here. Okay, I'm continuing to work on the cockpit detail. The way this works is that the fuselage of the plane, the top part of the fuselage actually lifts off and reveals all this detail. Okay. And what I managed to accomplish on Wednesday is I got the control panel done. And it came out okay. If I can, there. I don't think it's not really going to focus, is it? Anyway, it did come out okay. I got the wash on it. Just looks off a little bit for some reason. I don't know why. I'm going to have to look at that again. The big one looks asymmetric somehow. Not from the top, though. When you look at it from the top, it looks okay. You can't, when you look at it this way. This part here used to be there. The contact points are really tiny, and they stopped being in contact. It just fell off. So obviously the cement wasn't holding. A little bit. I guess that'll be okay. But, oh yeah, I got the head on the sitting Porco figure and spent, I think it was like an hour just getting rid of mold mark seams. They were really bad on this side. I had to essentially recarve. Not on camera. Great. I had to essentially recarve this entire side. This side wasn't quite so bad, but I managed to get it primed. So I need to check it out one more time because sometimes after priming, little flaws show up again. Like I'm seeing a seam on the shoulder here that shouldn't be there. So I might need to do a little bit more sanding, and then I have to decide whether to reprime or not. Well, here's the situation. These four pieces that you can't see anymore because I moved the camera again. There, these four pieces come together to form a cage over the cockpit, where the seat and the control levers are. Okay, and then this Porco figure is supposed to sit in the seat. Its feet go on the rudder pedals, and the control yoke is between its legs. And I tested it, and it test fit it, and it actually works. Okay. But it poses a couple of challenges. One is if I build the cage, okay, you can see it in the instructions here. If I take these pieces and put them together to make that, there's an opening in the top. But if that opening isn't big enough to slide the Porco Rosso figure into the seat, okay, through the top here into the seat, then I have to either take it apart or give up on the sitting Porco. The other challenge, this is actually leading to some other conclusions about how I'm not going to follow these directions in terms of assembly steps, is these little side things attached to these end pieces. Okay. And as you can see, the attachment points are really, really tiny. I mean, very small. And so what's really quite possible is that it will end up not fitting in the fuselage for a couple of reasons. One is that in putting it together, it's possible that it is not fully aligned. It could be like twisted a little bit so that this is to the right and this is to the left, so that it's not, instead of a perfect rectangle, it's more of a trapezoid? No, rhombus, I guess. Yeah. So that when I try to fit it in here, maybe one side might fit, but then the other one would be off. And if it's all cemented together, that means breaking it apart. Good luck with that. Okay. The other thing is that the distance between these two might not be perfect. Okay. Depending on where the attachment points go, they either go all the way to the front or protrude a little bit or something like that. In which case it also wouldn't fit because it would either be too long or too short. So after thinking about it, restlessly thinking about it while I was trying to sleep, what I've decided to do is not take a chance with the Porco figure, okay, fitting in through the top into the seat and going ahead and painting it now and installing it in the seat before I put the cage around it. Then I don't have to worry about it fitting through the top of the cage. Okay. I don't have to worry about it fitting through the top of the cage into the seat or adjusting it in the seat or getting it to adhere or anything, because it'll already be there. And the other thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to build this onto the bottom of the hull here. So instead of assembling it and putting the whole assembly down, what I will do is probably I'll use contact cement because it might have to move around a little bit. Is that the front and the back, I'm going to put those into the hull where they belong and then attach the sides. And then I don't have to worry about the torsioning, okay? I don't have to worry about it being I don't have to worry about the angles not being 90 degrees because these will already be in place. And I don't have to worry about it being too short or too long. Okay. I won't have to worry about that. Yeah, the visuals here are really going well, aren't they? Because these will already be in place in the hull of the plane. And I can just attach these short or long as I need to, maybe adjust them a little bit, maybe do some filling in after it's cemented in. I can do that because these will be in place. So, that's the thing that's going to be happening because of the way it's going to be happening. Yes, is that I'm not going to take a chance with the sitting down Porco Rosso figure, but I'm going to paint it first. So I'll be doing some minifig painting today. And then see if it sits, see if he sits there okay. And then this part here, these 4 pieces, plus the 5th piece these 4 pieces, plus the 5th piece that fell off that was already there. I might put this one back later today to see how the day goes. But I'm going to build these on site, right? So that these parts are front and back are already in the hull where they need to be. And then the forward and backward, the side panels will go on. And these I can adjust to fit the forward and the backward. Okay, these little attachment points. So it isn't the way they say to do it, but I think the results will be better than if I put this together and then find out that it doesn't fit and then have to try to break it. And these are really tiny, kind of fragile pieces. Okay, so I'm not going to be doing anything more with this today. I'm not going to do anything more with this at all until the Porco Rosso figure is done. I probably will later on in the stream continue working on the engine parts. Okay. I'm gonna. I'll just leave it there. I was going to move it aside because then I reach over, I knock into it. The engine, I got the headers, these things attached, and they've got seams that need to be sanded and filed. And then that won't be too bad, really. And then I'll do this: attach the two halves, put the two halves together, put the camera, my air. It's supposed to be like there's a little screw thing that's supposed to hold it in place after it's moved, but it doesn't hold. So I'll do this. I'll put these two pieces together. I'll show you how that goes. And I'd like to do that today. In fact, I might even do it. Well, no, I won't. I was thinking maybe doing it really early on, like now. But I want to clean these up first, because once this is put together, then I've got the seams on the front and the seams that come with this. The very front of it, not so much on the bottom. That's not going to show, although I will clean those up also. But yeah, that. And then there's can't tell which end is which here. Well, after I cement it, I have to figure out which is the front and which is the back, because it's not really obvious. There's this is the back with these little pipes. You can see them here. They're not on the front, so this is the front. Okay, well, I'll do some sanding and filing on those, and then probably some cementing later on in the stream. But here's the Porco. I got its head on. I got it primed. I'm going to check it for flaws now that it's been primed. Maybe do a little bit of sanding, like I said, to get rid of some marks that shouldn't be there. I don't like the way that looks right here on the sleeve. You can still see the line here. You can see the line of where the seam was. I'm going to look at this through the head magnifier, of course, so I can be assured. These little lines, I don't know. Can't feel them. They'll see them though. Well, I'm probably going to do a little sanding on this, and then I am not going to reprime it. There'll be little spots that the primer will come off. And then there's some really detailed painting instructions. Or both. Oh yeah, this is going to be a good day. Both Porco Rosso figures. There's the big one that stands up. That's the display model. It stands on the stand. I'll do that at the, that doesn't have to be done right away. But this is this one. And he, for some reason, is wearing glasses and goggles. I don't know why, but he is. Sure, that. Um, I want to check one thing. The sitting down one is wearing a seatbelt. Okay, and for the model, there's a decal that goes on the seat. So if one does not paint Porco, okay, if you don't paint the figure and put the Porco figure in, there is, see it here, a decal that goes on the seat of the plane so that it looks like there's a seatbelt in the plane. And I want to see what color that is because the painting and directions say that this is supposed to be painted green, okay, and that the buckle, kind of oddly, is painted gold. Sure. No, let me do that right away. It'd be easier to do that if I could actually find the model box. Wonder where it went. It's important to have the model box because all of the other pieces of the model are in the box. And there it is, pushed to the back. This, by the way, is what it's supposed to end up looking like that. And then you lift off the top, the whole top, and then the interior that I've been meandering about forever. Yeah, and that's how Porco is supposed to look. Now the lenses on his glasses are these are the pieces that I haven't used yet, and the sprue of the pieces that are to be used. Oh, it is green. Okay, that's the seatbelt. It's kind of a bright, sort of a bright green. I was thinking of painting it a different color to make it look a little bit more military. Trying to do stuff that doesn't involve me actually doing anything. Color chart. Thick green is pretty nice. It looks. You could also paint it flat green, which gives it a little bit more of an olive drab look. Although that isn't olive drab because we have olive drab and some other greens. See, it might end up looking like the light green. But that just doesn't look. It's way too bright. It doesn't look like canvasy seatbelty kind of thing. I think this is a better green. This is really kind of tempting. It's sort of military looking. It's got more red in it. And the goblin green isn't too bad, but I think that. Well, what color is his suit? Does the color chart tell me what color his suit is? 44. Deck tan. Okay. His suit is the same color. No, deck tan is a good color. I like that. Okay. Deck tan. I know I've got that somewhere. They've used it. Oh, can't find anything anymore. But to me, it color. Oh, dark sand. Oh, deck tan there. It's kind of this grayish color. That's deck tan. I knew it was a Tamiya color because the color chart references 3 different brands of paints. This is the color chart here. It's of course all in Japanese, right? But these are the colors, whatever this brand is up here. These are the colors on the color chart. And they translate over to Tamiya colors. I recognize these right away because these are the we've used it a lot, and it translates to these numbers, and so I'm familiar with them. I don't know what this is in the middle, but these are the colors that I'm using with just the minor substitutions, like the silver paint, number 8, okay, which translates to just silver. I have a whole lot of other metallics, and so I've been using those like on the fuel tank. Okay, the fuel tank there. That came out looking pretty good, and I painted the straps a darker tone, and there's some little bolts that I made even darker so you could see them. So that's been working okay. No, well, I need to find the paints, and I need to get some painting done here. I think sooner than later. So put the parts box away. See that the fuselage is molded in red, but it's not going. It's going to get painted over that. Because the seams that show when something's cemented together and all of that need to be disappeared. Okay, yeah, I almost lost the star of the show here. Collecting the brushes I need, and the little teeny brushes for most of it, but also a little bigger brush for the suit itself. Yeah. Yeah, it's not bad. I used up a good chunk of time. Excuse me. I've we had a big change in the weather here over the last day. Temperatures dropped, air pressure changed. The result being that yeah, I'm snuffling. Yeah, some of these seams still show a little bit. I'll see how they look under magnification. And if I'm doing any sanding, it's going to be with a very, very fine grit piece of emery cloth. Well, yeah. So just to recap, I'm changing the order in which I'm doing things so that I'm minimizing the opportunity for things to go bad. So painting the figure and test fitting it in the seat before building the canopy around it when I might not be able to get it through the canopy, and then building the canopy with the fore and aft, the front and the back frames in the fuselage, so that the alignment and the length are correct, as opposed to putting it together and then finding out that it's not going to fit. But there is there, which is kind of weird. It's not so much a mold mark as it's just like a flaw in the plastic. Oh, good. So you're just going to have to hear snuffling. Apologizing in advance for all the sniffling that is going to be happening. For the most part, I did a pretty decent job of cleaning this up. It was a lot of work. Took a lot of, there was a lot of sanding involved in getting rid of the mold marks on this thing. This side was most problematic. There. Yeah, I can't feel it at all. A little white streak where something isn't even. Mutter, 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 mutter. Better. The helmet was a problem too. There was this big line behind its, just a raised area behind the earpiece. The detail on the goggles is not really great. This is going to be a little bit of a challenge here. Actually, going to be a lot of a challenge. What's going on here? This is, you can't see what I'm seeing. As I'm looking at it and looking at what it's going to take to paint it, he's wearing these goggles, and there's a nicely defined strap right here, a little raised line. On the other side, it's like huge. Hmm. Okay, well, I'm hoping this isn't beyond my skill level. I guess I'll find out as I go along. I painted lots of highly detailed minis before. Um, got some special challenges. I think I need to paint. I need to paint the face color first, the flesh color, and then do the mustache and the goggles because there's again, it's you can't really see it, but there is a tiny space between the mustache and the bottom of the goggles. Okay, and that needs to be painted the flesh tone. I'm not going to be able to get the paint in there without getting it on the frame of the goggles. Um, so those definitely need to be painted afterwards. I might be able to paint the mustache first and then kind of paint up to it. Okay, well, there we go. That's going to be, this is going to be to do here. I am going to not hold it with my hands. I'm going to use a holder. And I've done this with minifigs before. I'm just going to bury the feet in the goo to hold it. And then the boots will be like the last thing to be painted. I think I'm going to paint some of the detail like the scarf and the seat belts. Before I paint the entire outfit, the suit. I can kind of paint up to the edge of the color. I want the color to come around it. And then, because painting down, Nicole likes to paint down from an upper surface to a lower one, and I like to do it just the opposite. Paint up to a raised surface. It looks like well, I can't finish unless I get started, so I have to start with something. I'm going to start with his face and then let that dry and then try to get the mustache and the goggles done correctly. And then the scarf and the seat belts, the gloves at the same time. The scarf is white. And then I'm going to paint the suit, and I'll worry about the head a little bit later. Okay. Okay. So in order to do that, I need the right colors of paints. Flesh. That's the face. And different colors of black, different glossiness. I need white. Need deck tan. There's the deck tan. That's cute. I hope I have enough of that. When I looked at the color chart and figured out what paints I needed and which ones I had, I did things like, oh, I've got deck tan. But I didn't check to make sure that the deck tan I have is still usable. Oh, yeah, I need the green. I decided to use sick green. Yellow green. Sick green for the seatbelt. And then I need white. And the Tamiya white, there it is. This might do. I had a whole test patch of the different whites. I didn't keep it. But I've also got it's coming undone. I've got Viejo white and dead white. The dead white is very bright. It's I'm going to find that because I might end up using that. The scarf and gloves are really pretty distinctive. And the Tamiya, so good. Yeah, there's hardly any of it left. You can see way down at the bottom. No, it might work. I'll see. I've got dead white here as an alternative. Yeah, alternatives here. Give this a stir and see if it's usable. Can't hear that. It's really too bad that you can't hear that because I can't get it. I get it to vibrate the work surface like that, make everything all kind of wavy. Okay, well that was a good test, wasn't it? What you saw there was that it wasn't holding, which would have been a problem if I had been painting it and it fell off like that. That would not have been good. I have an alternative to this with the Viejo colors. I need to use a different color. Stay on here now, okay? The mechanical vibrating mixer thing is really fine, but sometimes I just there's nothing can substitute for Good old shaking it up. This is a paint that has not been used in a very long time. And the top is totally stuck. Yay. Okay, I'm going to have to get a tool. There's always something. Always something. I think this is spirits of model building are telling me, don't do this. Okay, let me get a pair of pliers and see if I can get the cap off of this. I'm not going to put the brake screen on or anything. You can just look at here. Look at this stuff. I try to get this open. I'm glad I have an alternative, though. Okay. Well, I guess that's the advantage of being a tool-using animal, is that a tool broke the seal. I guess that's a good sign. It shouldn't have evaporated if it was on that tight. Looks like it's okay. I'm going to get started with some relaxing painting here. You can relax. I'm going to paint. I make an effort to not, I want to not mess up. Trying to stay on camera. I looked up and I was definitely not on camera. Here it is, the application of paint. This is the part, right? This is the part where I decided I needed to put the flesh tone in first, and that's that little spot between the mustache and the goggles here. That was good. Almost all the problems I ever create when I'm painting are due to moving the brush to and from the work. So as I move this up to the surface of Porco Rosso, I smashed it right into the lens of the goggle. Yep. And the whole goggle now is covered in flesh tone. Might as well do the other one too, and then I'll paint over it. That's not how I was planning to do it. Okay. Just definitely not. But that is how it happened. So far, I have to say that this is going, yeah. It's not going that well. It's going meh. If this is an indication of how the rest of this is going to go, I'm going to have to be exceptionally slow and cautious in the painting of this. Even slower than I usually am. Okay, what's happening here is down around the collar. So there's this gap. There, and I'm going to paint it this way. If anyone's watching this like on YouTube or something, and they're really good at painting and they know what they're doing, you're probably appalled at how slow I am and how messy that is, and how just totally ineffective this has been in terms of holding its feet in place. Good grief. Come on, it's supposed to be sticky tack. It's supposed to stick. I'm just going to bury its feet in this. There. See. That does. Yeah, it's got a spot right in the middle of its forehead. That would be unfortunate. It's like everything that needs to be this color is this color. Base is going to be a challenge. Now I see what happened. Okay. Well, I'm going to clean this up just before I seal it up. The whole rim of it got covered in paint, and then the lid's stuck. Take a slightly used one here. Let's scrape that paint off. Oh. Use one of these X-Acto knives. It's not so much on the top here. Usually that's where it's built up the worst, but it's except for this spot here. I don't need these on to be doing that. So this is relaxing paint scraping with Dyson Dungeons. While you're all relaxing, watching me scrape paint off the threads of this paint bottle, I will tell you that Dyson Dungeons is a Dungeons and Dragons group. We put on a Dungeons and Dragons show, which is amazing. It's amusing. It's engaging. It has all sorts of other ingings. And if you haven't, I would strongly encourage you. I don't know, maybe even beg you. I'll even beg you to check it out. We stream on Twitch on 3 Sundays a month at 2:00 Eastern U.S. time. And also all of our episodes appear on YouTube and can be listened to as a podcast. And great. get it in the cap so that I have a chunk of dried paint. Wow, this is really built up on these threads very badly. That's clearly why the cap wouldn't open. I don't know how that happened. Unless the paint was, if the cap wasn't on really tight, sometimes these things are stored on their side on a holder, and they can leak into the bottom of the cap and onto the threads like this. But I know if I don't clean this, it's not going to seal. And then the same problem will happen again. Yeah, I can kind of see, oh yeah, you can see here where the paint was like hugely oozing out. It's dripping inside the bottle. We had one leak so badly it leaked into the holder, and when it got into the holder, and okay, well, that piece went flying and cemented the jar. This, paint, as I have been told, is a pigmented adhesive. It is. It's just glue that's designed to stick to whatever it is you put it on, and it's pigmented so that whatever it's sticking to takes on the color of the paint. That's pretty much all it is. And so paint gets into the spot like this where it's not supposed to and leaks into it. It glues it up. Really tempted to cut the wrong way. Always push the knife away, especially a sharp thing like an X-Acto knife. So yeah, relaxing paint scraping with Dyson Dungeons. This isn't the usual part of the show. This is kind of an emergency repair of some paint that I'd like to use later. Okay, well, you can see that there was a lot there. Recap this tightly so that it doesn't leak inside the cap again. There. And try to clean this up. Well, that was something to do while waiting for the flesh-colored paint on Porco Rosso's face to dry off. The decision next is whether to paint the seatbelt green or whether to paint the scarf and the gloves white as the next step. I'm going to toss this. Look at the model again and hope it doesn't fall off. I'm really lucky I could use up the entire stream today and get hardly anything done, but at least not damage anything. It looks like I need to paint the white first and then paint the seat belt up to the white. So the next color I'll be using is going to be white. And I can either use this white or this white. I wish I'd kept my my samples of white. I was testing them for coverage, how well they covered, and leveling, because ideally a paint should cover well and level well. Level means that the brush that it flattens out as it dries, not in terms of flat versus gloss, but just the surface. Any little brush marks and things would disappear. Just I'm going to test these before I start painting. Just give it a try. A piece of cardboard here on which that was sitting. You can see where I taped it down to hold it. I was spraying it so it didn't fly around. This pretty much looks like the Porco Rosso figure does. This is the Tamiya white, flat white, which is the one that matches the color chart, essentially. And we're going to need 2 coats. I'm not sure. Given how little there is in the jar, I'm surprised that there's still that much solvent in it. Some of you might be thinking, well, all I'm doing now is wasting time so I don't have to actually do anything. That's not entirely true. Okay. I really do want to know which of these whites is going to work better on the model before I start painting it on. Because once it's on, it's not irreparable. I can take it off by using some isopropyl alcohol and rubbing it off, and doing some sanding things, and even repriming it. So it's not a disaster. It's just not good. It's not good to have to do it again. What color is the helmet anyway? P5. Khaki. Okay, yeah, I've got khaki paint. I bought khaki. It's up there somewhere. While I was gone, my Knott's Studio workbench was used by others. And I had all the paints put away, except the few that I was using. Well, kind of without a doubt, right now I can say that this white is better. It's just covering better. It's a little bit streaky. It's more viscous. It's less fluid, but it's a scarf, and so a little bit of texture isn't an altogether bad thing. So since it's without a doubt, I have no excuse, I may as well just go ahead and start putting white paint on this thing. I'm going to use the itty bitty brush on the scarf. The itty bitty brush is the remnant of, it's just this. I'm painting down onto, it's not hugely intentional, but it's not unintentional. to get the paint down onto the surface below it, just to assure that that's white like it needs to be. The, the edges here, and I'll paint very, very carefully, I'm sure, paint up to those edges. Paint the suit deck tan. My hand is working. It's been better, okay, in terms of steadiness. On the not quite steady side today for reasons I don't know. Not enough coffee, maybe. Gummed up. Little bits of paint on little bitty brushes. They dry off right away. They dry and then forms a ball of dried paint on the tip of the brush. That was almost good. I almost did what I frequently do, which is to smash the brush into the surface I'm painting right to it. Stuff there, that blob of white shouldn't be there. And it is there because I had the brush at the wrong angle. This on camera? Yeah, kind of. Yes, I'm very carefully slopping paint onto surfaces where I don't want it. Cautionary tale for the rest of the day. A little bit uneven, but I think that's okay. I it's going to stand out very, very brightly against the deck tan color of the suit itself. Sure at first, but it's part of the knot in the I'm not going to mess with that anymore. This is another one of those, oh, just one more little thing. And then that little thing just is one thing too much. And then what was like an A or an A minus or even a solid A that I was trying to make an A plus, turns into a B minus or a C. I've done that often enough that I know when it's about to happen and I can avoid it. I'm going to use a slightly larger brush to paint the gloves. This too is I want to get the paint on here over the edges, is slightly over the edges so I can paint up to this color. Then, later on, what you're likely to see is when I'm very, very carefully trying to get these boundaries between the colors perfect, is that the deck tan will get on the fingers a little too far, and then I'll have to get the white and touch it up back and forth, back and forth. In the past, that has turned out to be not as bad. I mean, when I'm painting it, it looks like, another spot. But when it comes time for the touching up, it sometimes turns out to be not as bad as it originally looked. By not as bad, what I mean is that it needs less touching up, fewer spots and smaller spots than I'd originally thought. I hope that's the case with this as well. That is then yet to be seen. Yeah, as I was concerned, this paint is quite thick, which means it covers pretty well, but it's also kind of streaky. These brush marks. Which is okay on a glove. That's not good though. It's like a little bit of a piece of dried paint or there. There's a lump. There was a lump on the glove. Now it's going to be tempting to put a little bit of wash on the gloves, some like really light gray maybe, so that the fingers show better. I'm going to resist that because they need to be white. And even though I could maybe just highlight the fingers a little bit, Right, that would cause more. It would just make it. It would gray it out, and it wouldn't look good. Okay, I think that's okay for the initial base coat for the scarf and the gloves. Next thing to do, good work on the face and the helmet. Really tempted. Um, so I'm looking at his glasses, not his goggles, but the glasses. And I've done this in the past. Is I've got this really fine tipped felt tip pen, and I'm really tempted to use it on that rather than trying to brush it. But the problem is, and it's a significant problem, is that if it isn't perfect and gets on something else, the paint it dissolves the ink and then it just makes a blot. So the lenses are glossy black. I want to make the frames and the mustache. The mustache is just flat black. But the straps on the glasses, not the goggles up here, but the glasses, I think are supposed to be black. There's nothing to be done about it other than to do it. I've got this flat black, and then I've got two Viejo blacks, one of which is glossy. I can never remember which is which. Game black. Game black is the glossy one. This is the flat one. The Tamiya black. Tamiya black is pretty flat. Can't see it. It's just, it is what it is today. Model color black. I think I'm going to use that, even though the color chart is based on a Tamiya color. I think this covers a little better. Okay, so I'm going to try to do some detail painting here. A painting is mustache and the frames of the goggles, not the glasses, but the goggles and the strap, this black color. This could end in tears. I'm doing this first. I need to paint the seat belt green, but I'm doing this first because I'm waiting for the white to dry, and the seatbelt abuts the seatbelt color comes up to the white, and if the white's not dry, they're going to bleed into each other, and then I'll have a significant mess. Tiniest brush I have. Almost need one that's tinier. It goes completely silent when I'm painting stuff like this. Can't do this and talk at the same time. Seriously, I just can't. If that's not on camera, I do apologize, but what is that? That's just the top of his mustache. It just looks like it's up higher than it should be. Maybe the bottom's down lower than it should be. No, needs to be a little bit closer to the nose. That's going to be, yeah. A little bit of black paint right there. That shouldn't be. To get a little bit of the flesh and just barely touch that. There it is. Being a little more cautious here than I really need to be. So I'm painting the goggles because that's going to get overpainted, with another color. But just trying to make it look good. Stay sticky. Okay. that just really, it got out of control. I have to take a deep breath here soon and re-examine how this is going. This is just turned, I don't know, it looks like I'm being incredibly careful, and I'm trying to be, but everything is just turning into a mess. Yeah, so far, this does not bode well for the painting of the glasses. This is going poorly enough that I need to worry about the painting of the glasses. Here it looks like the frame. Can't tell where the goggles are and where the helmet is. It's like this really looks like the goggles go down this far on this side. A spot there that I can see under magnification, but I can't get the paint to go there. That is, or why. Um, Let that dry. And then I'm going to do the touch up around the mustache. This teeny tiny, itsy bitsy little spots. Sorry about going, quiet there. Ken Silent, I was just trying to paint this, and it just isn't. This isn't a good painting day. Let's put it that way. It's just not being a good painting day. And I'm hoping that I can cover up my errors here. To do some denatured alcohol, some isopropyl on this. The builds up around the base of what's left of these bristles. Well, it is kind of what it is. It's not awful yet. Supposed to get flat. And then the model color is flat. The game color is glossy. To use the model color on the strap of the glasses, and then actually, I'm not. I'm going to, in order to contrast it with the lenses. Okay, I'm going to do the strap and the rims of the glasses as opposed to the goggles in this flat black. And then I'm going to paint the lenses. This should be a trick. The lenses of the glasses a slightly different color. I'm going to do this now because if I have to touch up the flesh tone, and I already do, I have to touch up the flesh tone anyway. Did not turn out. That was not an even line. Paint. I was doing okay. And then I smashed my brush. It I pushed it a little too far and just made a mess. Yeah, and the kind of the touching up that I was trying to avoid down at the bottom of the lenses. Yeah, now I'm going to have to do it. Well, I have to say that this has gone pretty mediocre. Yeah, kind of hoping that this is one of those situations where it looks like I need to do a lot of touching up, then in fact I don't. But right now it looks like a significant mess. Hopefully that will level out nicely and the paint won't pile up so that I can repaint the flesh tone around it. Otherwise, I'm going to have to wipe the paint off with some alcohol and repaint it. I'm glad I didn't try to use the felt tip pen though, because then I wouldn't have been able to touch it up with the flesh colored paint. All right, well, let's try the green. So I've been painting now for like 45 minutes, and all I managed to do is mess up Porco's face. That's quite an accomplishment, right? Now I'm going to be trying to paint the seat belt, and the seat belt comes up against the scarf in many spots. Again, the green is not mixed very well. Paint the green down to its flight jacket because it's raised up above. And in the middle is its quick. That's the quick release thing. I'm going to get the green onto the flight jacket, but I don't want the green to get onto the white. I need to be, yeah, this is another quiet time here. It's less important down here because there isn't any boundary. I mean, there is, but it's not with an already painted surface like it is here. I'm just having trouble seeing where the seatbelt was and where it wasn't there. Really not careful there for a second. That almost was just a major unforced error. It's not going, it's not covering those little spots. Maybe if I look at it, turn it this way. God, a little bit too much there. Get it under here. Just looking at this, and I'm seeing one spot that needs to be touched up with the white. I hope I can do that. Strap goes down. Yeah, legs. Get that painted. These edges all look better once especially on this side when I paint the khaki color of its uniform. I think that might have, no, it really has to be the seatbelt. Otherwise, you can't see the seatbelt here. So even if it's raised up a little bit, it's this little lump there. Yeah, I need to find that line when I paint the suit. The line around the back, sides here, down the side here. That, other than that one little spot, it looks like it came out pretty well. I'm going to try to fix Porco's face. Tiny little dots of flesh-colored paint. Need to just get in just tiny little areas where the black just messed up. Assuming the black paint is dry by now. No, maybe not. Looks like where it dripped down here on the nose and into the mustache, that it's a don't touch this yet situation. I could try to paint the helmet, because if I'm going to do flesh colored touch up, then I might have to do it on the sides and the top of the forehead too. Let me see if I want to tackle that. The helmet color is 55, which is khaki. I think this is it. Yep, khaki. Yeah, and the khaki also touches the white. So if I have to do white to touch up, I can, I'll do that as well. So far, Porco Rosso is coming across as kind of a B level look to it. What I mean by that is it's like a B or B minus. It's just not great. But so far, I don't see anything I can't fix. So that's a plus. Well, it's a good thing I have an excuse for being silent here because given the kind of painting I'm doing, I can't keep up a monologue and do this at the same time. Not without causing a serious problem. Get this on the white. I hate these minuscule little spots, where the paint just missed. And the sticky tack guy. These earphones, I'd like a little bit later, I think I might want to try to paint them a different color, maybe a brown or something, so you can see that they're there. This is, for me, at the moment, definitely not relaxing. It is painting, so at least that much is happening. To the black or not. Spots that just aren't covering. Starting to get gummy. The paint in the bottle cap starts to evaporate and then it gets gummy and kind of unusable. Yeah, this is going excruciatingly slowly, but it just has to. I don't really want to come back and do a lot of touching up. I do something that looks really, just fine from one angle and I rotate it and it's not. It should be fun. tiny little bit of helmet to the face. Really see, can't really see the boundary line there. Got it on its face. I think I need to put a little black back on that. I'm not sure. The helmet extends, past its face, and so yeah, totally silent there as I try to get the paint down around its face. You notice I have this habit of bracing with the small finger in my painting hand here, and that has caused some significant problems in the past when I managed to insert it into wet paint. I've done that occasionally, and then touch it somewhere else and blah, splotch. Oh, do the top here, don't I? Yeah. Goggle strap. That's little buckles on that I probably should paint metallic, so one can see them. I'm imagining the strap to be. I'll see what it looks like from the front. Or it looks like it is from the top. Way too big. And I'm not getting a good focus here. Why? What is going on? Why am I not seeing it clearly? Goggles just look too big here. I can't really see how to change the boundary line without. Do black touch up. It's one of those things where it looked good from one angle and then definitely not good from another. I get a sense of where the space between the lenses just looks too big. But I can't see whether it needs to be. I mean, it's just where it's raised up. It's just what it is. Paint down into it a little bit. But there just isn't anything to be done about that. It's just the way they are. A little flesh tone touching up. Maybe a little white. Let that dry, and then I'll do the flesh tone touch up. There's a fair amount of that to do. And I might need to come back with the black if the flesh tone, just iterate it back and forth until the boundary line is good. The other thing I can do is if I'm going to do any black touching up on like the goggles or on the band of the, just in order of things here. I'm going to paint the lenses of the goggles because I probably will have to come back with some black touch up after that. Lenses of the goggles are medium blue. I think that's this one. That's light blue. I know I've got it. Medium blue. Okay. Oh, this particular, it's just giving me fits. And there's a bunch of black touch up that needs to be done anyway. Just as I'm looking at it, there's a tiny dot right along the edge of the face that's just not, it's not even. Oh my. I hadn't turned it this way before. Seeing a section that I hadn't painted. Can't tell if that needs some white touching up or not. I think it might. No, it doesn't look too bad at a distance. It doesn't look too bad at a distance, but there's little bits. There's a spot. I never even got painted. Dyson Dungeons is a Dungeons and Dragons game, and you absolutely, totally, completely need to watch our Dungeons and Dragons show because it is amazing. I have to say so myself, because I'm one of the participants, and we do. It's very entertaining. Sometimes it's hilarious. Sometimes it's really serious. Sometimes my character gets mostly dead. Our sets are really good. I'm going to show you our dungeon tiles after I do the lenses here, and I make a mess on the black and have to come back and touch up the black again. Okay, after I do that, I'll show you our dungeon tiles because they're pretty special. We produce our dungeon tiles on 3D printers. These are new ones. We just replaced our old ones. Not really replaced, supplemented them with a new model that is faster. Painting again. So goodbye. No more talking. Well, there's one lens, almost, but not quite good. Sometimes, painting a surface like this, it's hard to see where the tip of the brush is. But there's a tiny spot there. It isn't blue. Paint just doesn't go to it. Same thing is true here. Oh, well, yeah. The bristles on the brush are bent. down part has to go on the surface. Yeah, well, it's a little bit ragged, but not too bad. Yeah, well, I need a little black touch up around the edges. Okay, well, there. Some more paint on it. Porco is sitting, but he's at the moment just slumped over really badly here. I keep building up the sticky tack around its feet, but it doesn't seem to matter. Okay, well, I'm going to continue doing little painting, touching up stuff. Take a little bit of a stretch here and decide which color first. I think I'm going to do some white touching up. There's a couple of little spots of white touch up that I'm just going to get done. And then there's some black touch up. And then there's a bunch. No, I'll do the black after I do the flesh tone. So I'll do white first. And then, oh my. Okay, this is one of those. This is one of those. I can't believe I did this. Right there. I got some green paint on the glove when I was painting. I must have hit it right on the edge somehow, like with the side of the brush. Get that first, so I don't I mean, it's the most obvious problem. Need to get a new infinitesimally small brush. It looks okay. Here, I knew there was one here. Needs to be repaired. Thing that needs to be done is the flesh tone. Uh, need to do the flesh tone touch up. That's a bunch. That's a lot of delicate little work. And then the black. But before I do the black, I'm going to try to paint the lenses of the glasses a slightly different color. Maybe. I haven't decided yet. We'll see how this looks after I get his face fixed. Really, I need like the tip of a needle here more than even the brush. That dry, should I? Let me clean this off. The brush is actually too big. Talking about pinpoint accuracy, which that wasn't. I got it all over the. Just it's going back and forth badly. I painted that lens. I had too much paint on the brush, and it just made a mess. And now the mess, my light gone out. Supplemental light makes a difference. Well, I just totally messed that up. Oh. Yeah, that's going to take some fixing. Filament or something. Yuck. Porco, quit flapping over. Side is almost okay. It's this tiniest little dot right on the nose. Just okay. Well, the left side of his face here is looking okay. The right side of his face is kind of a mess. I need to work on those glasses with the black paint. Down here, maybe. Okay, I need to obviously fix the lens on that glasses. A little bit of work on the mustache. The black doesn't go down quite far enough now that I'm looking at it. And there's that. That pinpoint accuracy were worked on one side and didn't work on the other. So there's a good deal of black touch up that needs to be done. And then, no, and then I have to paint a suit. There we go. Before I do that, I'm going to. There's these. Remember, I said there are these little buckles on the back of the strap for his goggles. This one, there's two. I'm going to paint those metallic because if chainmail silver gunmetal. Them to be too bright. This color. Because if I mess these up, then I need to touch it up with black too. So I'm trying to think of the correct order in which this should go. So I minimize the amount of back and forth. Since I have to touch up the black anyway, if this, oh my. Okay, well, that, I mean, the paint is oozing out through the tip here and congealing inside the cap. Great. Yeah, if I get this just right, then I don't have to touch it up. But if I don't, then I have to touch up the blacks. So some ways really weird. The detail on this isn't, much different than it is on some of the other models I've done, but for some reason, I'm just having a really difficult time getting it right. Um, so next week, well, I'm going to be streaming on Monday, and then Wednesday is Christmas Day. I will not be streaming on Christmas Day. And then I will try to stream again on Friday. So next week, Monday for sure, Wednesday for sure not. And then next week, Friday, probably. And then the week after that is uncertain. The week of New Year's, just not really sure when I'll be streaming or not. Okay, I need to touch up the black. Take a bit and hopefully not have to do it all over again. And then it's almost time to quit. I really should wait on this until Monday. At this point in the stream, I mean, that kind of explains why I was having such a hard time with some of the touching up here. Is that my focus and my hand coordination just suffers, and I was wondering what the heck, why am I having trouble with these little silver spots? Well, it's because I'm fading. I'm having my end of stream fade. So the black touch up is just, it's going to wait until Monday. I'll have a much better chance when I'm fresher at the beginning of the stream of being able to pull that off without messing it up. There's just some spots on the goggles, the frames, and then of course the lens of his sunglasses where I just, got the flesh paint up there, and maybe a little bit on the bottom of the mustache on this side where it looks like I missed the raised portion of it. Although it looks, I don't know, it looks without the magnifier, it looks okay. Is that seriously not painted? I might do one more thing. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, there's a spot there where the green paint didn't cover. His belt buckle, the buckle there is supposed to be painted gold. It doesn't make sense that it would be gold. It doesn't. It would be brass or bronze even. And because it's just going to like, boom, blast right out. I'm going to paint it bronze if I can find it. Or maybe just brass. I like the bronze color a lot. And I have to do some green touch up anyway, as I see now. Because part of it, just right here, right there, there's a spot where the green paint like either peeled away or something. So if I paint this buckle now, I'll probably need to do some green touch up around it anyway. So let me just get it done. See. That's a pretty nice color, isn't it? It doesn't jump out like brass does. It's still got that nice metallic look. Camera more than not during this stream. That's kind of nice. It goes like it goes down here. This is part of the buckle here. The edges of the buckle are just not very well defined. I think that turned out okay. I'm glad I went ahead and did that before I ended for the day. So Dyson Dungeons and Dragons show. Watch it. It is worth your while. I'm going to leave this on here. Probably set it down like this because otherwise it'll fall. Need to do black touch up. I'm going to put that right up in front so that I will remember to do that. A little bit hard to forget because his left eye is a mess. Need to recharge those before Friday. They've been on all day. Porco in with the other pieces here. Cover it up. Leave a mess here. All the brushes and paints and everything. Just why not? We'll get to it. But I want to show dungeon tiles before I finish. Okay. So these are really cool dungeon tiles that we make on a 3D printer, and they feature in our scheme, in our Dungeons and Dragons show. This is stone. Okay, it needs. We can sometimes put a gray wash on it to make it look more weathered. Depending on whether we want, nice, clean, sparkling keep, or whether we want dungeony or something. The cool thing about these tiles is that underneath here, there's ball magnets in the corners. You can see there's no special surface here, right? It's just a paper towel on a piece of cardboard. They stick to each other. And so it's really very easy to take them apart. Okay, there's no clips that get caught or anything, and can rearrange them. It's really pretty neat. And then these, one of my favorites, these are made to look like wood. And it's a multi-step process. They're primed, and then they're base coated in a kind of a tannish brown, a light brown color, and then washed with this smoky ink wash that gives it a really rich wood-like look, and it highlights the wood grain that's in the print. And then the final step is to paint in the stucco. And this is like the color, the standard color that we started using, but you can also, we have some that are green, like the inside of a tavern kind of thing. And these two have the same feature. Okay. Pin hinge door opens and closes. Painted the detail on the straps and the handle, that kind of thing. And it looks good on both sides. And so if one has a street scene out here, okay, the outsides of these things are finished just as much as the insides. So that gives it a lot of flexibility. And then we have some special things like we have like a fire mage layer, and a sigil is printed right onto the surface of this, and then painted to look all flamey. And then got a cauldron, and mage can say flame on, and flame can appear. And that's the kind of thing we do in our show, is it's flame on and the flame comes on. This is cut stone. You can see the difference between that and the rough stone. The same sort of thing, though. All the pieces fit together like that. This is a cool tile. Looks, like a rough stone tile. And if we're in our show, we're just, walking along. But if we're not careful, a trap appears, and maybe it's a flame that threatens to burn us. There's a little magnet in the base there. This magnet isn't installed yet, but that would stick. And so it actually, if this is set up so as players can't see the other side of it, okay, you can't tell that there's a trap there until you set it off. And then using the same tile, the DM can say, "Oh, look what you did. You now take fire damage," right? That kind of thing happens. So, yeah, these are our dungeon tiles. We produce them ourselves from this scratch meaning from plastic filament that goes into our 3D printers. They're printed, they're primed, they're painted, they're detailed, they're washed. We have corners, outside corners, inside corners, plain floor tiles, so you can, fill in the space, the floor space. Windows is arched windows, square windows, windows with a lattice work on it, so it looks like, especially with the wood, looks like an old-fashioned, leaded glass window. And they're just a lot of fun. And as I said, they're featured in our Dungeons and Dragons show. And so just a reminder that if you want to support Dice and Dungeons, you should watch our show. Become a follower on Twitch, a subscriber on YouTube, and you can always go to patreon.com/Dice and Dungeons and support us that way. Okay. On Monday, I will be returning with my struggles with the Porco. It's looking okay. It's not too bad right now. I need to fix the face. I've got some touching up to do with the black. And then I'll be painting the body of the suit. And there's a lot of spots there where there's, where it comes in contact with other colors. So I'll be doing that very, very carefully. Oh, has he got a belt? Seriously, I didn't even, oh my, I completely missed that. Got a belt on his pants that needs to be painted black. Well, I have to do a lot of black touch-up anyway. And so I'm going to paint the belt. Yeah, it's there. I can see it. I can see it on this side and a little bit on that side. Hardly visible in the front, but a little bit of an indentation on either side of the seat belt. So black touch-up and belt painting. A little bit of green touch-up on the parts of the seatbelt that didn't get painted, and I hope that's just a reflection. There's always something. I just keep finding more and more somethings. No, that's actually another. No, that's not the seatbelt. That's where I splotted paint up too high. The belt is under the scarf. Okay, well, black, definitely a lot of that. On the goggles, the glasses, and the belt that I didn't paint at all. Monday will be featuring this. We'll be featuring this color. Thanks, everybody, for joining today. If you didn't watch it live as a stream, I hope you enjoy it on YouTube. I am going to continue very, very slowly and deliberately very slowly, just really slowly, working on the Savoia. Be finishing Porco Rosso on Monday. I really hope that it goes okay and I'm able to finish it on Monday. And then be moving on to test fitting it, if the paint dries soon enough, test fitting it in the seat of the cockpit of the Savoia, and then building the canopy up around him. And once that's done, I'll actually be done with the hull and the inside detail of the Savoia. I'll put that very carefully into a box somewhere and then continue working on the engine. So thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend. I will be back on Monday at more or less 10, doing more relaxing for you and challenging for me painting. See you all.